So first of all, welcome to Unfiltered Gupshup.
Thank you.
I'm so happy and glad that you agreed for this interview session.
The pleasure is mine.
Thank you very much. And I wanted to introduce about Unfiltered Gupshup also and about you also. So Unfiltered Gupshup is a platform I'm creating for the creative people around me. And in this community and in our world, there are so many unsung heroes and they want the successful people around us. They want to have an exposure or they want to say their stories. So I am creating a platform for them. So Unfiltered Gupshup is just for creativity. And now, audience, I wanted to introduce Dr. Rashmi. So Dr. Rashmi is a sound therapist, energy healer and manifestation coach with over 8 years of experience in helping individuals align with their true potential. Before following her passion for the holistic healing, she spent a decade in the IT corporate world and holds a PhD in computer science. She has conducted meditation sessions for students at IIT Jodhpur, CISF and for industrialists also. So welcome Rashmi, and we will have a wonderful session, I'm hoping. So all the other people who are going into meditation process, they will get to know about it.
Thank you so much for having me today.
So, what do you think that meditation should be applied on each and everyone? What do you think about that?
I think meditation is applicable to all age groups. I have heard people saying that meditation is something that we should save for later, for old age. And also sometimes people think that meditation will make them cut off from the responsibilities or detached from the emotions, but I think it's the opposite, because meditation enables you to cope up better with the material world and also face the challenges in everyday life.
Awesome. So first of all, let us know that what drew you towards meditation and how it impacted your personal life.
Well, I was drawn towards meditation at a very young age. My childhood was a little different. I will not call it difficult, but it was different as I lost my father when I was 2.5, and my mom was working and she had really long working hours. So I would spend most of time with my grandmother, my maternal grandmother, my nanny, and she was a very spiritual and highly disciplined person. So she had a routine to meditate every morning and do her rituals, and she would ask me to sit down and accompany her. So if I look back, I probably started at the age of 5 and 6. Awesome. And I was not clear that I was meditating. She would ask me, to focus on breathe or just focus on the birds nearby.
Okay.
And if nothing else, do the chanting, the Ram Nam and the stuff.
Okay.
So I started quite early and it went on for a few years. And when I grew up further, the practice became reduced as she also passed away. But I would say the most remarkable change which emphasized on the greatest impact of meditation in my life is in my late 30s. I was diagnosed with a rare condition of thyroid infection, where my thyroid gland almost disappeared.
Okay.
And the doctors had told me that I would have to be on artificial thyroxine all my life because my body is not producing the necessary hormone, and many people are aware that this hormone is quite necessary for metabolism.
Okay.
So there was a day when I was hospitalized in ER. My heart rate was almost 200, which is very dangerous because the normal heart rate going above 100 is also not healthy. And my heart rate above 200 was the resting heart rate. When I'm laying in the bed, I was sweating profusely as if I'm running a marathon. And during the course of that treatment, during recovery, I rediscovered the power of meditation. And it helped me get off the pills within 6 months.
Awesome.
So those 6 months was a time when I was meditating at the war level. You will say it's funny that how can you be at war? But it was my so high priority that I would meditate 3 times or 4 times a day. And it is surprising, like I'm a living example that when the medical science had proclaimed that my body cannot recover enough to produce thyroid hormone again, it's been years that is going on really well without any support of any kind of pills.
That's awesome. Yes, glad to know that. But can you explain how many types of meditation we have and how can one choose which is the best, or like how to choose?
So there are a dozen types of meditation. There is not only one type, and one should not typecast into choosing just one type. Generally, one could begin with the focus meditation, like you focus on a candle flame or an object. You can take a rose petal and focus on the design. If you find it difficult to sit down and meditate at one place, you can pick up something like Tai Chi. Or somatic exercises where you have a fluid body movement and you go in rhythm with the breathe. And then there could be chakra scanning meditation where you focus on the 7 energy centers of the body.
Yes.
And then there is transcendental meditation, which is also called TM.
Okay.
And in many religious practices, the chanting of the mantras, like in Hinduism and Buddhism is practiced. That is also a form of meditation. The most powerful meditation which has been helpful for me is the sound meditation, where we incorporate the sound of the singing bowls. And if one doesn't have these bowls, one can also listen to the binaural beats which are available on many music apps online.
Yes. Okay.
So when one wants to choose the type of meditation, there should be a clarity in the lifestyle and the goals. If you think that you do not commit to the time, like time management is an issue with so many people, you can start with short meditations which are like for 3 minutes or 5 minutes, and gradually you can build up your practice. If you think that you cannot sit for long hours, you can listen to the guided meditation tracks or to the bowls while you are running your mundane errands. And also then there is Tai Chi, which is the movement meditation or walking meditation, where you don't necessarily have to sit down. So choosing meditation not only just depends on your lifestyle, but also what kind of goal you have. If you are coping up with lot of stress, then mindfulness meditation will be helpful. If your focus is spiritual growth, then you can focus on the sound healing or the Nad Yoga. Sound healing also helps to cope up with the physical ailments and physical illness as well. So there is more than a dozen variety of meditation. So I would suggest not to overthink, keep it simple, and choose what aligns best to your being, to your style.
Okay. So what advice do you have for the beginners who are finding it is difficult to meditate, difficult to sit down, and what is the advice you will give, how they should proceed in their meditation path?
The first advice would be just to start somewhere. Start with 3 minutes a day. And keep it simple. You do not have to have rules that I have to sit at one particular place and face in one direction. Do not relate it to religion. Do not be afraid that meditation will pull you into a cult or a specific religion, or you should have a guru. But start somewhere. To bring the consistency, you can do a coupling of habit. For example, what I would do is that I put a post-it note on the mirror of my bathroom, where I would use the chants, the TM, the transcendental meditation, and while brushing my teeth, I would do it thrice. So that state of focusing on the present moment while I'm brushing my teeth and doing the chanting is also a form of meditation. It's not necessary that I have to sit with the beads, the rosary beads, and do the chanting that way. So you can pick up any habit. If you have long commute hours, if you use the public transport, you can use that time, plug in the headphones, pick up any leverage of apps, the technical advantage you can have here, and you can meditate that time, or pick up 15 minutes at bedtime. So something which you're already doing in your routine, that is your habit, and you associate 10-15 minutes of meditation to it, then it becomes easy to manage. And don't give it a break. Keep it consistent, because when you do it consistently, you see the results within a week or some time.
Okay. So yeah, how can meditation help to manage stress and anxiety? It's such a big universal question.
Yes.
So yes, tell us about
Yes.
that. The new people who are stepping into meditation.
Stress is a very familiar word, and it's a part of everybody's life.
Yes.
But if I look at deeply into stress, stress is actually your primitive reaction where you are in fight or flight mode. For example, it's an afternoon, you have to pick up your kids from somewhere, and then you have to reply 10 text messages, and then there is also traffic, and you are trying to figure out the best route possible. At that time, the stress triggers in, because you are mentally everywhere but not where you actually are physically. And therefore this is the confusion, because physically you are sitting inside your car. So your heart rate should be normal, your breathing should be normal, but mentally you are doing a dozen things.
Yes.
And therefore your heart rate is going fast, your BP is going fast, and then you identify, okay, I'm stressed right now. And therefore the primitive action, the primitive reaction, when humans were cavemen and they would go hunting, they would run. But we are not running, we are sitting in the car. So meditation is actually to bring coherence, where your mind understands that you are actually sitting inside the car, you are not running.
Yes.
And therefore, now you will say how meditation is helping me here. Now, because you have been meditating for 2 weeks or 2 months, now you know how to manage your thoughts, because your thoughts are scattered, so your energy is scattered. And when you have been practicing meditation, you can detach. You can detach from that moment, that right now I have 8 minutes of ride, I will go do this thing, and I can look at the different things later. So now what happens is, if you look at the brain waves, when we are in the stress situation, the brain waves are going like this.
Okay.
Right, which is a beta state, and then they slow down to alpha and theta state, which is like more fluid or calmer state, and you actually feel calm. And therefore in modern times, meditation is much more essential, because we are trying to multitask. And when we are trying to multitask, our energy is going into multiple places.
Yes.
But we have a limited amount of energy.
Yes.
And we want to do one thing nicely, one thing properly. And therefore meditation is a skill which enables you to do one thing at a time and to be in the present moment. And therefore I would also emphasize that it is much necessary for youth, especially who are in their prime years of building a career, or students who are preparing for the competitive exams, because they are trying to achieve something, put in their best efforts, and probably that is the phase where stress is at its peak.
Okay.
And when we start early, like in the early stages of life, we are empowered better to face the challenges which are coming up.
Yes. Yeah. So what role does mindfulness play in meditation, and how it can be incorporated into everyday activities?
See, mindfulness is actually not being thoughtless, because it is not natural for humans to be thoughtless. But mindfulness is that you are being mentally present where you are.
Yes.
Being coherent with your actions.
Yes.
And therefore, meditation is like taking a shower. Like when you enter the shower, you take off your shoes and clothes and you cleanse yourself, and you feel lighter and calmer. Similarly, meditation is the internal cleansing, where you for a brief amount of time, you put away your fears, your worries, your to-do list, and just be with yourself. Because when in the modern times we are so busy that we are with everybody, not with ourselves. And therefore meditation helps you to increase your mindfulness in everyday activities. A simple activity like chewing your food can be done with mindfulness, and you can feel the taste and the texture, instead of you're just hogging the food and looking at the WhatsApp.
Definitely.
And
I find when people are making like food, they are taking like 2 hours, 1 hour to prepare the food, and
Yes.
within 10 minutes it's over.
Right.
People are not even relishing and mindfulness. They are not even eating
Yes,
properly.
yes. A simple bite of banana can be delicious if you chew it with mindfulness.
Yes. So, how much we have to meditate? Like, what is the time limit? Is there a time limit?
Well, there is no time limit. It's a general saying that the number of years, what your age is, that number of minutes in every day is enough. So if you have a toddler at home who is 3 years old, 3 minutes will be enough.
Actually, you will get 3 minutes only.
So if you actually want to nourish your soul, you want to be emotionally healthy and be focused at your work, the ideal would be, if you're 40 years old, it would be 40 minutes a day, and it shouldn't be like 40 minutes in one go. It could be 20 minutes in the morning and 20 minutes in the evening. If it is too much, do at least 20 minutes once a day, and even if that is not possible, commit 20 minutes once a week. Depending on the lifestyle and the schedule, this can be managed accordingly. And I think if you can have an accountability partner, like if you can find a community, like a bunch of friends, maybe 3 or 4 friends, or if you find a mentor where you can go and sit like once a week to meditate, that would start showing you results, and that would automatically encourage you to increase your practice minutes.
So, what are the misconceptions about meditation?
Well, I didn't have any, but I have discovered as a meditation coach that people do have a lot of misconception. The first one is that people feel that it has to be 1 hour or 2 hours, and therefore they are reluctant that I cannot manage that much time. On the contrary, I see that people do manage time for binge watching on Netflix and all, and that time, time commitment is not an issue. So it can be as small as 10 minutes. It can be any time of the day. People assume that there is an ideal time, like the Brahma Muhurat, when the sunrise is there or the sunset is there. But meditation can be done anywhere, anytime. If you are commuting to your work, you are not driving, but like you're in a public transport, or you are in a waiting lounge somewhere, you can meditate there. So there is a simple technique which I generally share, which is called the box breathing, that can be done anywhere.
Okay, box breathing.
Yes.
Okay.
And meditation will not put you on a path of spiritual growth in such a way that you become detached. It will actually enhance you or empower you to reach
like
your
the things
goals
around you.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. So how do you measure the progress? Progress is happening. How do we measure that? How do we do it?
Yeah. It is an inner work. Yeah, it's all happening inside your thoughts and emotions, and therefore the progress is also measured internally, and it varies person to person. The physical evidence which you can see is that people around might notice that there is a glow on your face, you look calmer, or your small health issues like a digestive disorder or skin rashes can go away if you are meditating regularly. Internally, you will have a lot of clarity. You will be able to decide quicker and better. Your confusion will fade away, and you will feel much calmer even in chaotic situations. Your triggers will reduce. The usual things which irritate or annoy you on the everyday life, the count will come down.
Okay. So what are some techniques to maintain consistency in our meditation? What should we do to be consistent? Like, okay, I did on Monday, I'm missing on Tuesday, Thursday.
Yeah.
Like that, how should I be consistent?
Well, as any other practice, self-awareness and self-commitment is the key. So if you prioritize your growth or self-love, you would be consistent automatically. And I feel that if you are not able to do at one particular time, like every morning, you can make it flexible. Like if you missed on you if you did on Monday morning and you missed on Tuesday morning, you can do it on Tuesday afternoon or in the evening. One key thing here I would say here is that do not judge yourself. Do not go into the guilt trip. Don't be angry on yourself that I missed and I'm not consistent.
Don't feel it as a pressure. No, we have to do it. Do it
Don't
willingly.
take it as a task. Yes,
Do it willingly. Be prepared in your mind and then sit down.
Yeah, the moment you go into guilt that I have done something wrong to myself, I missed it, the entire goal of meditation is lost, because meditation is something which makes your life more juicy, more enriching. But if this is also giving you guilt, then where would you go for relief?
Yeah. So what is the technique which can transform ourselves? Is there any technique in the meditation process, like any exercise which is transforming us?
There are various kind of meditations and various techniques, and each one transforms you. Now the thing here is that what is the goal you are looking at? Are you looking at stress management? Are you looking at better sleep quality? Are you looking at recovery of health issues like I did for my thyroid issue? Or are you emotionally recovering from some trauma, or you are grieving through something? So depending on what kind of goal you have, the technique of meditation will change. In general, I would say that focusing on breathe is the best way, because breathing is something which is happening on its own. It happens at ease. You don't have to remind yourself to breathe.
Yes.
You're breathing everywhere. So if you start with being watchful of your breath, that how shallow or how deep it is, how many counts are happening in 1 minute, you can start with the technique anywhere. And as I mentioned, box breathing. So visualization helps a lot. So what you have to do is just you visualize a box in the air. Okay, it can be a small box like this, or it can be a huge one. And the 4 arms of the box, you can do a count of 1, 2, 3 for one side, and then inhale, and then hold and go to the vertical arm, and then exhale and go to this one, and then empty yourself and hold and complete the box. So this hardly takes a few seconds.
Yes.
And because it's your visualization, you can looking at the blank space and meditate, and nobody even around you knows that you are meditating, but it definitely calms you down instantly. Another technique which can be used is again with the breathing, that you inhale through nose, hold it, and exhale slowly through your mouth, like you are doing a sigh of relief. And if you do 5 sighs of relief, you would see instantly your heart rate or the blood pressure will lower down, and you will be much more calmer. Now when you are calmer, it increases your presence of mind and it increases your focus. So whatever work you are doing, you are able to do it with much more clarity. Even if you are a mother and you have a dozen household responsibilities and taking care of children, it might happen that a small mistake by a toddler can trigger anger, and then you go on a guilt trip. So if you know how to bring your focus on your breathing and just take 2 breaths before giving that reaction, this will save you from going on that guilt trip.
So before ending up our talk show, do you want to describe anything about these bowls?
Yes. So these are called the Tibetan bowls or singing bowls, but they come from the Guru Parampara, and I call them Ghosh Kundi or the Ghosh Pushp. So they resonate at a certain frequency, and when we are in the presence of that sound frequency, our body also reacts and becomes one in the resonance with this. And therefore sound healing or sound meditation is a powerful tool to calm you down, and we can just listen to it once.
Feels nice. Yes.
So if you are in the presence of this sound even for a few minutes, the benefits are enormous. If you can have one bowl for yourself, it's great. Otherwise, you can have a group sessions with the playing of these bowls, or you can play these music on many app like YouTube or Spotify.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining for Unfiltered Gupshup. I'm very thankful, and I am also thankful to the Wisdom Senior Care, also to our camera person, so Mr. Arvind, and wanted to thank from the bottom of heart that we are into this healing process, him knowing a lot of about meditation, and thank you very much.